It's fair to say that out of all the attempting not to get sacks I've ever done, I've never been this close to the sack in my entire life. Now, for those that have been following, in the last episode, I was told by the board that I needed to get 8 points from the next 5 games. Now, I thought that would be quite easy considering that our next 3 fixtures were actually winnable games. I thought, yeah, we'll win those 3, I'll easily beat the points target. And yet, here we are, I'm on the final game of the 5, and I need to win to keep my job. And you probably think, oh, Proudy, you'll win the last game. I've got Liverpool. They beat me 10-0 2 years ago. Yes, you heard that right. I lost 10-0 in Football Manager managing a team in the Premier League. Yeah, we got no hope. We got actually no hope. This is the last episode, I'm telling you it now. In the last episode, we took a break from the league and it didn't go to plan. We played the FA Cup quarter-final against Manchester City away and we lost by 4-0. It has been one of the few bright sparks I've had this season. Yeah, there's not really been any bright sparks this season. I don't know why I'm bullshitting. Now, we have played 4 games of the 5 that the board gave me to get the 8 points. And we took on Brentford away first, and Julian Alvarez scored his first goal for the club as he slid in after the goalkeeper dropped the ball. But we flopped again. Pascal Stroik then decided to play against us for the last 10 minutes, gave Brentford an equaliser, and then headed the ball, and then they scored in injury time to turn the game around. I've literally had the same game against Brentford twice in the same season. It's a joke, man. In the following game against Bournemouth, we got overrun for pretty much the entire game, but then Daniel James popped up in the 92nd minute to secure us all 3 points and keep me in the job for at least another week. We then took on Nottingham Forest at home, and Rafinha scored twice, 1 free kick and a penalty, as we managed to beat them by 2-1. But then we followed that up with an away trip to Chelsea, and I was expecting to try and defend and try and get a point, which meant it made it easy in the Liverpool game. We lost by 4-0. It really did not go to plan. And now we're going to take on Liverpool, a team that I haven't beaten since, I think, Football Manager 17 when I managed Sunderland. I think I beat them 4-1 in one season, and that was once in like 20 games. Honestly, just start preparing the funeral now. So anyway, let's recap what has happened in between the episodes. So first of all, I got my new youth intake. It was absolutely fucking awful. I mean, just look at that. What am I meant to do with that?
Oh, fuck this shit.
I then had to hold a team meeting after our Manchester City defeat because the squad weren't happy with the poor dressing room atmosphere, and that was when I felt like, yeah, this is where it's going to go downhill now. But once again, you know, I worked my charm and all the players came around again before we then lost to Brentford 2-1. So it worked really well for those 2 days in between. Central midfielder Rafinha is also out for the season, which is really great for me because, you know, it's not like I've got enough injuries as it is already. I was also good to see that Steve Mounier has scored more goals for his country since he's joined us on loan for the season than he has for my team. Steve, mate, I love you to bits, but you are taking the piss. Got some more news as well, is that Patrick Bamford injured his foot kicking a football in training, which... I mean, how worse can the season get, seriously? And he didn't just do it once, he did it twice.
Man, the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
Before our win against Bournemouth, a lot of the players came to me and I had to have another team meeting because apparently they said that I'd lost the dressing room, which doesn't really make any sense because I've been at the club for about 7 months now and I think I know whereabouts it is. And once again, did the team meeting, charmed them, and, you know, they're behind me again. It's just amazing man management. It was also good to see that Harvey Elliott was named as the 9th best talent under 19. I mean, he's been injured for 6 months, and he's had to be under my management, but he's still in the top 10. My monthly performance analyst report, it also showed you how bad it's been at the club because they said that we weren't very good attacking, we weren't very good defending, we don't really move much, we don't cross the ball, we don't pass to each other, and we can't tackle. Although he did say that we are pretty much good everywhere else. Pascal Stroik also came to me and I had to have a meeting with him following that defeat against Brentford because he said that the team talk I gave at full time was too harsh. I mean, he literally put on a Brentford shirt for the last 10 minutes of the match and lost me the game on purpose. One of my coaches also has signed a new deal with the club and I'm glad because, you know, I'm sure he'll want to be starting something. Apologies. I mean, that joke was really bad. My assistant manager has also come to me and said that Junior Firpo has been training how to run down the left-hand side for 6 months and is still not that effective at it. So my left back can't do the one thing that I need him to do in the match. And I've only just found this out now. Well, it looks like another left back's on the shopping list as well as a new striker, new midfield, and probably a new defence as well. Basically, as far as I'm concerned, Meslier is the only player staying next season. Oh yeah, and Steve Mounier as well. Let's not forget about him. Now, TalkSport ran a poll and asked loads of Leeds fans whether they think I should be sacked following the game against Bournemouth, and 64% of fans said that I should, which is, I think that's quite disappointing, really. I would have thought it'd be higher. On my virtual birthday, I found out Crystal Palace had been officially relegated from the Premier League. I mean, they've been absolutely shocking this season. I think they've only accumulated like 14 points this season, and because we've been really bad, like, they haven't been relegated until now. Oh, and also because, if you haven't forgotten already, we need to win the next game to keep my job. I like how the board keep updating me every time that I need points. You know, it just adds a little bit of pressure to the occasion. Also, some great news for me as well is that Liverpool have just made the FA Cup final as well. Fantastic. My scouts also gave me some encouraging news because they said that apparently the Liverpool team aren't very good at finishing. I mean, they've scored 60 goals. In comparison, we've scored 26.
I don't want to speak about it.
The media have also said that Liam Cooper should be dropped from the Scotland squad because of his poor form currently under me. And to be honest, that's more like a reward rather than a punishment. My head of youth development also told me that he can't recommend any of the youth candidates to be signed to the team, which is really annoying because one of my board vision objectives is to develop players through the youth system. How am I meant to do that if none of the players I'm getting through are good enough even for the youth team? So some better news as well is that James Shackleton has been very good for me recently. He's now out of the Liverpool game with blisters. Oh boy, we need a miracle. And now we move into what possibly will be my final game as Leeds United manager, and knowing Liverpool's strength in attack, I've decided to play the 4-2-3-1 formation, but instead of 2 central midfielders and an attacking midfielder, we're going with 2 defensive midfielders and 1 central midfielder. We do obviously start with Ilian Meslier in goal. Junior Firpo will play at left back with Stuart Dallas playing at right back, Robin Koch, and Diego Llorente will be our 2 centre backs. Mark Roca and Pascal Struijk will be our 2 defensive midfielders, sitting in front of the back line, with Matthias Klick playing as the sole central midfielder. And we go with a front three of Rodrigo, who's finally returned from injury, to play at the left wing, Rafinha on the right, and Daniel James would lead the line for us. I mean, it's quite a bold change for me to play Daniel James up front when I've got Julian Alvarez, who I said was the best striker at the club, and I've dropped him to the bench already. This is either a tactical masterstroke or a disaster class. I guess we'll find out in 90 minutes time. So the only positive I can really take at the moment is I've looked at the team sheet, and Liverpool have dropped a few players from the side that got to the FA Cup final. Andrew Robertson's not playing, Mohamed Salah's been dropped, Thiago's been dropped, Fabinho's not in the team. They have rotated a fair bit, and we could have an opportunity here, but I'm obviously just getting ahead of myself, and I know what's going to happen. Now, I do believe if we avoid defeat in this game, we will relegate Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. I mean, they should have been relegated a long time ago, but, you know, I've just been shipped pretty much all year, so they've somehow survived this long. But, you know, a draw is not good enough for me because, as I've mentioned probably about 600 times this episode, if I don't win this match, then I'm not going to have a job. We had made quite a promising start to the game. Stuart Dallas got the ball on the right-hand side and then found some space on the wing, ran down it, then laid the ball for Rafinha, but he fired it over the bar. Now, if he had just kept that shot about 5 miles down, it could have troubled Alisson. There weren't too many attacks in this match, but Liverpool did get a chance as Diogo Jota slid the ball through for Darwin Núñez, but one-on-one with Meslier fired it straight at him. Then a very strange highlight happened as Pascal Struijk kicked the ball forwards, and it didn't look like anyone was going to get on the end of it. But Rafinha didn't give up, and his perseverance paid off as he fired it towards Alisson, who spilled the ball, and Daniel James slid it into the back of the net.
My God! Okay, it's happening!
Okay, there's no need to panic. I might be in the midst of having a panic attack right now because I can't believe we're 1-0 up against Liverpool, but there is no need to panic. Half-time came about and we were leading at the break. 45 minutes we have to hold out for, and I'm still in this job. But inevitably, you just feel like you know what's going to happen. You just know what's going to happen. It was the most confident I'd seen us on the ball all season, and we got another attack together in the second half, and Junior Firpo was slid in on the left-hand side. His ball across the box found Rafinha, but his failed 1-2 then went out of play. That is the same Junior Firpo that apparently can't run down the left flank. But we were allowing Liverpool to have a few chances, and Diogo Jota once again set up Darwin Núñez, but when he was through on goal, he fired the ball wide. Just another 30 minutes to go. Just another 30 minutes to go, and we're safe. With about 10 minutes left on the clock and me basically in panic mode, I made a triple substitution, but I didn't want to change any of my defenders. So Mark Roca, Rafinha and Rodrigo all came off for Nakajima, Julian Alvarez and Gravenberch. With the minutes ticking down, Liverpool were amping up the pressure and ball across the box and nearly found Curtis Jones, but Stuart Dallas threw his body on the line. Then Diego Llorente then threw his body on the line in front of James Milner's shot. This is actually the best we played all season. It's actually taking the piss. As we entered injury time and we were still winning, I decided to put on all the time wasting options I could. Basically, I'm just sitting back at now. We are going to hold on to this lead. And amazingly, we somehow managed to beat Liverpool by a 1-0, and I'm still in the job. I actually swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. So drink it in.